Chapter 6 The Rainbow Cave. By pressing the gemstones in the coded order, Kuhl opens the stone vault door.
This is it!
With this great excitement, even Kuhl mutters as the door slides away into the left and right side of the walls, and a bigger room is revealed. The room shines in all colors of the prism from gemstones probably found when the tunnel and the room itself was made. On a 1 cubic square meter pedestal at the end of the room is the actual Stardust document, a long-lost scroll of wisdom that was written by Atarius after her journeys. When she retired, she wanted to give the righteous thoughts of her experiences to a worthy future, and it now belongs to the citizens of the cosmos that had arisen to the level of the spirit she had required. The actual document is written on a large scroll. As he comes closer to the scroll, he becomes stunned by his own emotions. While Kuhl is in a trance, Aphira starts to read from the document.
It talks about a lot of different thoughts the nomad had. The first part is about the 5 great spirits. They are named after the 5 colors of the spectre in the gemstones. It talks about the importance of stardust. The whole cosmos is filled with them in all directions as far as the imagination can take us and beyond. They can connect or spread as much as they want to, either forming alliances or moving on their own as singular dusts. In relatively recent times, it says relatively, because they are always there, 1 trillion years is nothing to them. Something happened. While they were all dancing happily around, 2 dusts met, and they forged a small alliance. Just the 2 of them. Remember, they were used to dancing around without any worries with everyone all the time, but as they met, a new feeling emerged that was never felt. Though the meeting was brief, and they continued to dance around like normal, and after a while they were far from each other. They could still feel the presence of each other, even many light years apart. They made a word for each other, a name. One Stardust called the others Logos. The other thought about the newfound friend as Makuu. Every stardust was connected, both in physical and mental terms, and they could all sense the invention of the longing ones, and they also wanted to have names. Spreading in the entire unlimitedness of the cosmos, and still spreading, each stardust has its own unique name, a bit like the snowflakes, you know. Because the stardust has a new idea. They were also inspired to make a new system that would make it easier for them to organize. The 5 alliances forged a symbol of the new idea that these names were given. The alliances was the Red Alliance, that would be sorting the physical aspects of the new idea, the Orange Alliance that would try to secure the belief of the new idea, the Yellow Alliance that would try to deal with the new power of the idea, the Green Alliance that would be the symbol of the aspect of the feeling around the new idea, the Blue Alliance that would deal with the communication, and the Violet Alliance that would try to expand the idea of the names itself. They all were very happy about the new concepts they achieved, and as eons passed, they formed a lot of new constellations, creating everything from trees, birds, waters, planets, stars, galaxies, clouds, and all the things that we refer to as nature. But one stardust was all the time forgotten. Somewhere out in the cosmos, Makuu was drifting in the old dance, happily thinking about its friend, the Logos.
As the document is a rather long reading, Aphira must take a short break to breathe, but soon continues because it's a great discovery.
Makuu was never invited to the alliances, believing that things were as they always had been, except with the feeling of the longing of its friend. Though Logos never forgot Makuu, it didn't know where it was and assumed it was delegated to a different alliance. With time, the longing became unbearable and Makuu started searching for Logos, and then found a new system the other dusts had created. Instantly a new idea was born. Makuu's light faded. It became darker and became literally invisible to the other stardusts. Logos sensed a change in the idea they had shared, but it could not point out what it was, so it was never exposed. Since there are infinite number of stardusts in a different place in universe, Makuu starts its own alliance, and with time, the Black Alliance was born. This alliance was forged by the forgetting of Makuu. Rapidly, all the alliances grew in numbers, and the name process with it. Logos was considered a great leader for all the alliances. It was by the circumstances placed in the Violet Alliance for its remarkable good way of the names. This created a new balance in the cosmos. Since the stardusts don't have a mouth like we know it, they communicated with other terms, just by sending thoughts to the corresponding name. It is a given that both the stardusts communicating must know each other's name for the message to reach its destination stardust. At this point, Logos could not reach Makuu anymore, because Makuu had forgotten the name of its friend. As all the colors grew, Makuu's Black Alliance also was strengthened, forged by the darkness of forgetting.
A voice is chiming in the room.
Stop this. It is not true. The Black Alliance is the only truth. Forgetting is the way. I do not want to deal with his difficult thoughts. Let me go. Soon everything will burn out, and light will finally be vanquished.
Baffled by the appearance of Makuu's voice, Aphira takes a deep breath. Kule is still not moving, apparently struggling. The whole mountain seems to be shaking. Aphira is reacting. She grabs the document and pulls Kule up the stairs with a greater power than she knew she had. Her mind is sharp, and she manages to alert Lawyn.
Message to the Association of Reason. We are in need of immediate assistance.
Received. A ship is on the way to your coordinates.
As Aphira and Makuu barely manage to enter the starship hovering outside the entrance of the nomad's ancient cave, the whole mountain goes into dust and falls into a crater of destruction. The whole area is still rumbling. Makuu is slowly regaining consciousness.